Hello folks, it's me this time. Now what I'm going to show you today is a oh gosh, I've got to get my teeth back in. A sweet and sour chutney. I make this all the time and basically it goes with a number of things, whether it's sausages, a good curry or something else. So what I'm going to do is to go through, there's about 3 or 4 stages in this process. The first one is to whisk up the garlic and ginger. So you take some garlic and ginger. It was 8 cloves of garlic, which in my case was about a bulb, together with about a 2-inch stick of ginger, which was both peeled, and then both items were coarsely ground. So those go into your blender, like so. Whoops, throwing them all over the place today. All into the blender, and with that goes a little bit of wine vinegar. Now I didn't have any wine vinegar, so I've used a combination of sherry and wine vinegar. When I say I didn't have any wine vinegar, I didn't have enough, so I put a little bit of sherry vinegar in the bottom, and that's why it's a much darker colour than it normally would be. Normally it would be a much paler colour, and you basically put a little bit of that into the mixture there. In total it's 300 millilitres of vinegar that you would use for the total recipe. Then you put these in together and you whisk up. So seem to have your problem. Now I just need to obviously go down the sides, make sure that they're all done. Break it down and then give it another whisk up. Trying to get the mixture into a slightly more creamy substance rather than a bitty substance. I think I'll put a little bit more of the vinegar in. That normally I find helps to bond it all together. That's almost there. It's still a little bit more knobbles on it than I would really like. I think that is now done, or that will be done sufficiently. And you get a mixture that looks a bit like that. Okay. So the next thing to do is to get your saucepan. Nice big heavy one wherever you can, and in there you put a couple of tins of chopped tomatoes. Then to that you add some sultanas. And this is 2 tablespoons of sultanas. And you also add some sugar. Now there's a heck of a lot of sugar. Let me just check. 350 grams of sugar will be going in. And you give that a good stir. So effectively they're mixed in together. And then you add a couple of tablespoons of salt. Kitchen light on.
Okay.
Right. So that was teaspoons, a couple of teaspoons. I think I actually said tablespoons, so correct me if I'm wrong. And then that's it, basically. This mixture now goes over to the hob and you bring it to the boil before allowing it to then simmer for about an hour and a half. When it's been brought to the boil, you then add the mixture, the ginger, the slight amount of vinegar, and also the cloves. And that all goes in together, and then you just bring that to the boil, simmered, etc. So I will now take this over, and next time you see me, we'll be over by the hob. I have effectively put the mixture of the tomatoes, the sultanas, together with the sugar, and to that I'm going to add the wine vinegar mixture, which, if you remember, in my case was a mixture between wine vinegar and sherry vinegar. The other thing I'm also going to do is to put the hob on and bring the whole lot to the boil, and I will get my spoon and stir it round as we go. So at the moment I've got this on a boil setting, and that means that obviously when it comes to the boil I can then add the mix that we prepared earlier with the ginger, with the cloves of garlic, and with a little bit of the wine vinegar. So what I'll do is I'll bring this to the boil. The mixture is now on the boil and looking really nice. It smells very nice. I'm going to turn that down a tad, and I'm now going to go and get the ginger, garlic and wine vinegar mix and add that in. So here we are. I'm just going to add it in. There we are. There we are, it's all added in now, and I'll make sure that the whole mixture is nicely stirred together and all the ingredients are well mixed, and then I will leave it for an hour and a half to see whether or not the mixture at that time is as I expect it to be. And then at that point I add basically the almonds. There's some flaked almonds together with a pinch or two of cayenne pepper. So every now and again during the 1.5 hour period I like to give it a stir to make sure that it is not catching on the bottom at all. Don't have to do it too often, but as you get towards the end of the 1.5 hour period, you'll find you need to do it more frequently than before. I'm still stirring. The mixture's coming on, it's starting to gel up really nicely, and we've got about another 45 minutes to go. So I'm just going to give it another stir. We've got about 20 minutes to go now, and it's nicely coming together, as you will see. It's probably worth saying that outside is very cold, and because of that I've turned on the extractor, so I apologise for the level of noise that you can hear. And as you can see, familiar, as the nights are longer and the days are shorter, it's got dark behind me. And I'll be back probably about 15 minutes before we come to the total 1.5 hours to talk about sterilising the equipment, ready to decant it at the end of the period. It's about 15 minutes to go before the cooking time has finished. The consistency is coming to exactly what I would expect. The sauce, for want of a better description, is a lot thicker, which makes it really nice. The smell has changed, so it started off as quite a high level of vinegar smell, and it now has a sweetness in the smell, which is absolutely lovely. Now I'm about to start to sterilize my jars. Everybody sterilizes their jars in different ways. Some people put them into the dishwasher. I personally prefer to put scalding water on them and then effectively use that, and I do that about 10 minutes before the end. Now it's probably also worth saying that I wasn't very specific in when I said about the simmering. You do not need to put a lid on the top of the saucepan when you're simmering. You just leave it totally uncovered and it works perfectly. So I'm now about to do the sterilisation. I won't show you that, but you guys will all know how to do that yourselves. And then we'll be back for the final steps. Now we're coming to the last part of the recipe. First of all, let's have a look at what it looks like. The sauce is nicely thickened, as you can see. And now we come to add the last two ingredients, and that's the cayenne pepper and also the flaked almonds. So with the cayenne pepper, what we're going to do is we're going to add, I add about 3/4 of a tablespoon, sorry, a teaspoon, about 3/4 of a teaspoon, but it's largely up to you and what taste and the level of heat that you like. But I'm going to go for the 3/4, so that will go in, and I'll give it a good stir to make sure it's properly integrated into the other ingredients and everything is working as I expect it to. And then the next ingredient that we're going to add is flaked almonds. So I've actually prepared earlier 2 heaped tablespoons of flaked almonds, and those go into the pot, and then we stir those in as well. So this all occurs 5 minutes before the end of the cooking time, and I will now just get the items, the jars which I've been sterilising. I will now get those out and I'll come back to you as we're ready to fill them. The jars have sterilised and are ready now to be used, and I'm now going to take the mixture over and decant it into the 2 jars that I've got. Hello folks, so I'm here now. I have the mixture which has come out quite nicely, as you can see, with the almonds and how they've actually merged into the rest of the other ingredients. I've actually sterilised my jars, and now I will put the mixture into the jars. It's probably worth saying that these jars are a jar called Weck that I found largely by accident. At the time, we were regularly going for holidays into America, and when we were over there, we used to like a particular yogurt, which was a Daimon yogurt, and the Daimon yogurt had a fruit on the bottom and a Greek yogurt topping, and it was really nice, and I tried to duplicate that at home, but I was looking for a suitable glass jar to do it, and I ran into these in the stop, and I ran into these in the British Airways lounge, and I looked at them and they were wet, and when I investigated further, they were based in Germany, and I got some, and as part of my examination I found these at the same time, and I actually quite like those because they were somewhat easier to stack rather than the normal Kilner jars that we'd used up until that point in time. So slightly smaller, slightly easier to stack. Oh, that tastes good. So with these, you effectively put the seal on, like so. You then put them over and use 2 clips to clip them in place, like so. Do the other one, and what I do is to then let these cool slightly before I then put them into the fridge and leave them then in the fridge and serve from them. I've never tried to effectively leave them in a normal storage cupboard, just in the general kitchen. I've always stored in the fridge, but you get a reasonably good quantity out of it. And as I said, it's really nice with a curry, or if you're just having something like pork sausages, really nice with that. That's it really. I'll put the ingredients below, and then you can actually see and follow, and we will have these with our next curry. So thank you, and see you next time. Bye bye. We hope you've enjoyed this program today, and if you'd like to subscribe, please feel free to do so. Thank you very much.